What's up, everybody? Man, this is going to be a great show. It's been a bit of a interesting day over here, but very, very excited to finally get this going. Few real quick things for this show, and I mean, I don't have to tell you guys who the guest is. You can see it on your screen. But I'm going to do something a little bit different. To the people with the top 3 questions for Chris tonight, I'm actually going to be giving away a supercharged sticker pack, just a ton of shit in it. On top of stickers, though, you'll get the first run of these. These are coasters, and I just had these made. I'm very excited for them. But I actually got Friday Night Live coasters made up. And there's actually stickers of these coming too, so the sticker pack will come with 2 coasters and a couple of these stickers. So I just thought it'd be a cool little shout out to everybody that comes here, watches, supports, and hangs out. But guys, it's Friday night, so you know what that means. Fucking and there we go. How's it going, buddy?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Oh, well, I told you the whole story, but I'm doing about as good as I can be. How are you doing?
I'm about doing the same. I unlike you, got the second shot, and now I have double vision. Right?
Well, it's better than being in the middle of waiting for some results that you're not sure of. So,
yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So if anybody's curious, me and the wife had a tiny scare. Had to go get tested last night. Mine already came back negative, but we're still waiting on the wives. Mine was in at like 8 a.m. We got her tested at the exact same time. And mine was ready at 8 a.m. and hers still isn't in. So, yeah, it's been a fun day. But
you would think they would have home test kits by now.
You would. That's the one thing that's blown me away the most. Like, you think that you'd be able to get them on Amazon for like 50 for like $10 or something like that, right? But
could put a man on the moon, but can't fucking get a Q-tip to stick up your nose, you know?
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But you know, the health system up here, they've got to charge for as much as they can, right?
Yeah.
It's free, but they still charge the government, so they got to make their money. So
right.
Whatever. It is what it is, man. So yeah, I've been seeing a lot of this Arlington talk going on today on the Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And actually, when we agreed to do this today, I had no idea today was like the day people were going out that way for the show.
Yeah, neither did I.
So, do you have any plans? I know you're not in Texas, obviously, but did you have any plans to go out there at all, or?
I had plans to go to Texas in January to Conroe because Herps is one of my sponsors. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't going to go to Arlington because I was like, oh, you're not really showing Herps respect if you go to Arlington, right? And then I find out that Sean, who owns Herps, is going to Arlington like 2 weeks ago. So, but by then, I wasn't planning on going anyway. I'm going in June, and I can't go to Texas twice in 2 months. It's like I'm old, so when you take 2 days to do something, it takes 4 days to recover. So
yeah, doing that 2 times in 2 months, that's friggin'. That's like 12 days out of your 2 months that you just lost, right? So
yeah,
man.
But I'm looking forward to going there in June. But I know they're going to be partying this weekend. You know.
Yeah, I've been seeing some messages. We got Kim in the house. What's up, Kim?
What's up, Kim?
I don't know if you know this, but Kim actually lives like 10 minutes away from me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We had already planned. I'm going to come up and see Billy when everything calms down, and I figure we'll all go to dinner. Like Kim, us. What's the name? The other hot Canadian breeder there. Christy Lynn. Just people like that to just get together with because. You only go up there, once or twice a year. So I want to get everybody together.
Well, the good thing, too, is now Billy's old place used to be in the middle of fucking nowhere. So if you want to go out for dinner, you were driving like 40 minutes one direction or the other. Now he's in it's not like the heart of downtown or anything, but it's in a really good spot in Toronto.
Right.
So there's definitely some options, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, how close are you to Niagara Falls?
Niagara Falls, 40 minutes, not even.
Because we're gonna have to go.
Yeah, so I can get to Billy's in 40 minutes. I can get to Niagara in 40 minutes. I'm like dead center.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to.
So if you were coming through Niagara, you'd actually have to go through Hamilton to get to Billy's, which is where I live.
All right, gotcha. All right, I was there once a couple of years ago. But
I try to avoid it.
Well, it's not bad on the Canada side. On the New York side, it's dog shit. It's like fucking terrorist central, So
I've only ever gone to the American side a couple times, and that was just get free drinks at the casino. So
right, yeah.
Whatever. I figured I was going to be spending my money at the casino one way or another. At least to get drunk over there.
Yeah, well, I went on the Canada side to the casino, and it's so much nice going to a casino in a nice area. When you go to a casino in the ghetto, you just feel like a loser going there. You're like, oh, I'm going to lose all my money. I'm fucking such a loser. But if you go in a nice area where there's a park and everything, you kind of think that you're going to win, So,
well, and up here, too, everything's run by the government casino-wise. So all of our casinos are actually fairly nice. Like, we don't have any, run-down, super shitty casinos up here, I guess. So
the government-run casinos here in New York are dog shit. It's like so bad. So ghetto. I once had a woman tell me she got up off a machine, and I went and I hit like $2,000 on the machine, and she actually stood there and she said, "You're giving me some of that money," and I was just like, "Whoa, okay."
Wow, I don't even know how I would react to that.
Yeah, pretty ghetto here.
Man, I'm just I was never even one to really go to the States all that often. Mm-hmm. The first time I had been to the States in a long time, actually, was the 2019 Fall Tinley Show.
Okay.
And me and Nick, who you didn't believe existed or didn't even know who the fuck he was before, after that show, we made a promise to each other that basically any big show in the States, we weren't missing. From then on out. Guess what was the last big show before, I guess, this Arlington show?
Yeah, it was probably that show.
Oh my god, I could not fucking believe it. We get introduced to this this awesome show, and then we find out there's all these smaller shows just across the border, a couple hours past Niagara, and then the other way Windsor and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And we're making all these plans, and then this fucking bullshit hits.
Yeah. But the thing is that this could have been a lot worse than it is. So everybody should be happy that it just lasted a year. I'll tell you what it really did do. It fucking made me realize who not to go to when the real zombie apocalypse happens, right? Because right now, all they ask you to do is stay home, eat, and get paid for it. And people are like, oh, I'm dying. I'm so bored. Shut the fuck up, man. What are you going to do when the zombies are coming and they're breaking your fucking windows down, you fucking idiot?
What are you going to do when there's no power, no internet, no TV? Your cell phone ain't working, buddy. What are you doing then?
This really pulled out all the pussies, It was like, oh, I'm so depressed. I'm so sad. Shut up. There was never a caveman walking around with depression. Like you never saw a caveman being like, "Oh, I have ADD. I'm depressed." Get the fuck out of here.
Oh man. Yeah. No. Oh, I mean, we don't know. I guess, right?
Yeah, well,
Maybe. Let's say probably not to that one.
When you got to kill a dinosaur to eat, I kind of think that you don't have time to be like, "Oh, I'm sad." It's fucking idiots.
Okay. Let's jump into something here. So you breed ball pythons, and you talk about it fairly often. I know you've said a couple times you're having a little smaller of a year, or have been doing that for the last couple of years.
Yeah, last couple of years. We got rid of the shop in 2019, I think. Maybe
okay,
2018. I don't remember.
So that said, then I'm going to ask you one of the questions I ask everyone I have on here. For 2021, like what are you expecting clutch wise?
I have 2 pregnant snakes right now. That's it.
That's fair.
I own 8 snakes now. That's all.
Oh wow.
So we went down from 653, I think, to we split up around 30 of them. So I'm going to be spot nose heavy this year, and like spot nose clown heavy.
Nice.
So the only thing I did was breed a spot nose clown male to a leopard clown, a pastel clown, and a banana clown. That's all I did.
Hey man.
Yeah,
that's the way to do it, though, right? I can imagine it probably burned you out pretty quick when you guys have that many animals on the go.
When you're working a 40-hour plus week, and then you have to go to the shop afterwards for 6 or 7 hours a night, and really, Danny and Donato both work 12-hour days at their jobs, so they didn't really come down that much. And they came down when they could, and they helped, but it was a disastrous undertaking. Like we did everything wrong, and we did a few things right because we sold some high dollar stuff, but it costs $6,000 a month to run the shop no matter what, right? So when you don't make $6,000 a month, you got to dig into your own pockets for that $6,000, and it's just it's a pain in the ass. It was stressful. I had a stroke at the shop. All right, so that's how fucking stressful it was. So yeah, I've never been happier.
That's great though. I think a lot of people don't really realize. I don't want to say when they first get into the hobby, but when they first start like really getting some animals behind them, I don't think they realize how quickly the expenses add up. Because at first, when you first get your first rack or whatever, you're like, "Oh man, this is so convenient. Now I can keep all these snakes in one place, and it's way cheaper." It goes through the roof quick. Like our rat bill is probably $1,500 a month right now.
Yeah, I believe it.
Maybe a little below that. Like if I wish I could breed my own, I can't.
Yeah,
it's fucking brutal, man. And I'm not making $1,500 a month right now. Like we just had our first clutch hatch.
Tell me about it. I know. We had about 200 snakes here in my apartment.
Oh wow!
And Danny kept saying he's not going to be happy until I'm living out on the balcony, right? And we were just buying freedom breeders like left and right, fucking. And then when we got called out on it, because I got caught getting a rat delivery to the apartment, they used to just leave it on my terrace, right? And that we had to get a space, So we had the space and we had the room. I had 2 maniac partners that were like, "Fuck, we got all this room to fill now. Get more breeders and more snakes." So yeah, it was rough for a while, but it was fun, and I got to be tighter with them, as friends. But overall, please, there's no way if I had to wake up and do that every day right now, I'd kill myself. Fuck that. These people with their 500 balls, I don't understand it.
I can imagine it takes a very, very special kind of personality. And when I say that, I want everybody to know that I'm specifically talking about guys like Billy. Yeah. To be able to go do that balls to the wall every day, all day, no questions asked. He doesn't, dude doesn't take Saturdays off. He doesn't take Sundays off. He doesn't stay home on holidays. Like, I couldn't do that, man. This is in my apartment, and there's days I don't walk in here because I can't.
I'm talking to Billy at 7:30 in the morning on a Tuesday. and he's already at the shop,
He's been there for like 2 hours.
Yeah, there's no way I could do that anymore,
It's crazy, man.
Mm.
But a lot of his drive comes from the fact that he's had 100 different businesses, right? Like he's always done his own thing. So I get why he gels with it. But yeah, I couldn't do that either. Like I'm sitting around probably 110 at my place, and then Nick has not quite that at his place. And it's a hassle at 110 snakes. Like that's a lot. I'm working full time still, right? So
after 100, it's a job, no matter what you do. You know, I would think at around 75, it ends up being a job. It's a rough life, man. And especially if your desire and passion is fading, 75 is a lot of fucking animals to take care of, man.
We got our first chat question. This is a weird one. Thanks, Noah. What would your pet dinosaur be?
Oh, you know what? I would have that one in Jurassic Park where the had the frills come out.
Oh, what's it called? Dilophosaurus?
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Dilophosaurus, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm full on Ankylosaurus. I want that fucking big ass dude with the sledgehammer tail. Right. That thing would be awesome.
Yeah, but
you never need to pay anybody for construction.
Around in your apartment, that's kind of big, I think if I had like a frilled dragon dinosaur, he could probably live with me and still be kind of cool. Your thing got a giant hammer for a fucking tail.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would be able to stay inside.
yeah, you'd have to keep him outside. I don't have the property for something like that,
That's fair. We got for Pete Snakes. This is my buddy Pete up here in Canada. How has doing YouTube impacted your business both positively and negatively? And for you, I'll expand that to your podcast as well, because I know you do that more than YouTube.
Well, YouTube I just do for fun because it's something cool and it keeps me in video editing because I used to do a lot of it for a living. And what's really keeping me in it is the Patreon, because the YouTube, like we did an All Hot Chick episode, and people were railing on me for like saying I'm just doing it for YouTube clicks. And I'm like, dude, I'm 47 with a job. I don't need to get money off YouTube, you fucking idiot,
But my favorite thing is also when people are like, oh, you're just doing it for the views. Like, that's why I'm on fucking YouTube. Like, otherwise I'd be doing this in front of a fucking camera that's off talking to myself. Like, fuck off.
No, but I really like the Patreon because it lets me do videos, and it lets, like, I'm never going to be a Billy on YouTube or a Justin on YouTube, and I'm never going to make money on YouTube. But the Patreon lets me, make some money at it, and it lets me really shoot videos that where I couldn't shoot for YouTube, where I curse out people and things and all that, and they're my specific fans, so they know, they know what to expect. So that part I like. The YouTube part, I don't really give a shit, but it's fun.
And that's why I do it. And a lot of people are always like, oh, how much money do you make off YouTube? And my answer to all of them is always the same. I'll tell you when I start. Like, I haven't made a dime.
I know people that have made, like had 1 million views on certain videos, and they're still getting paid like $200 a month, $400 a month.
Brian Cusco had a video last year, and it went crazy. It blew up. And I made a joke to him just because him and I text back and forth all the time. And I just made a joke to him. I was like, what are you going to do with all that YouTube money? And he didn't even respond to me. He just took a screenshot of, like, I guess there's some sort of, like, YouTube payout thing you can go on once you're, I don't know. And he showed it to me, and it was like $22 for that video. And it was like 1 million something views. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It takes a lot to be like a Barcheck or a Jay, and I don't have alligators here that I could be fucking walking into pet stores or having big retics fucking bite me to gain views. Nobody gives a fuck about, a fat middle-aged dude fucking trying to be young and showing YouTube videos, So, but like I said, it's fun and it keeps me into video editing. So,
hey man, that's great. I wish I had any semblance of skill when it comes to video editing. That's why I do the lives, because when it comes to the recorded videos, oh my God, so bad. So
see, the recorded videos I like doing more.
Really?
The lives, I'm just like, oh, fuck this. You know, like, I'm going to be and a lot, like fucking. Not only that, but you fucking people in your 2-hour lives, like fucking, you guys are interviewing each other for 2 hours. I never heard of one of you, okay? And I don't want to hear them for 2 hours, right? And nobody wants to hear me for 2 hours. God fucking knows that. So I just don't get it. You know, I'm like.
What I like about what I do on this versus what other people do, though, is I actively take questions from people. So if there's a fan of Chris Eaton out there and they've never heard you mention something before, they get the opportunity to now ask that question and find out. Hey, Chris, what's your favorite ball python morph? Hey, Chris, what other reptile would you breed if you got to choose right now? No questions asked. Like, stuff like that. I love it. Right?
Well, right. And also, it's nice that people are actually paying attention, because on 3/4 of these lives that I watch, nobody is talking about what's going on screen in the room. Everybody's just trying to get the attention on them and say, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to get this. Shut the fuck up and pay attention. I think the guest deserves more respect than that. You know,
when the chat gets away from itself, and you know what, like Billy's podcast is a great example. Mm. I mean, the chat community of Billy's podcast is phenomenal. Like, they're crazy. There's like 100+ people that are there every week.
Yeah.
But sometimes they get so far off whatever is being discussed that I don't think they're listening to a word that's being said.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the old AOL chat rooms. They're just talking about whatever the fuck is. I'm just like, oh my God, like, why are you guys even here? You know?
Noah back. Favorite non-ball python breeder?
Oh,
that's tough. That's a good question. That's really tough. Crap. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I don't know.
A few that I could name, like Casey Lassick is, you know, one of the OG people that, you know, he still does ball pythons, but he doesn't do as many. Garrett Hartle is fucking incredible, man. I mean,
Garrett would probably want to be one of my top choices for sure. Yeah. He's awesome to watch. I love listening to that guy talk. He's got so much fucking information.
Yeah, he's fucking a genius, dude. And that's really it. I don't really talk. I talk to some non-ball python breeders, but they don't breed anything specific outside of ball pythons. You know, like I just had Warren Booth on the show that breeds like all these sorts of rare animals that are only like there's only 3 of them in America or whatever. So people like that, I'll tell you one thing, they're a lot more interesting to talk to than ball python people, because ball python people, you kind of already know all the answers, right? Like
you ask and it's going to be one of 20 answers. It's just
exactly. Yeah. So, so it's only interesting for me because I'm not in that world, so all of it's new, you know. So, but the ball python people, like I'm over it, but I love all the ball python people because they're my friends, you know. So,
you know, but you don't need to watch them all on the same live saying the same things to different people. Is what you're saying,
dude? Some of them there's like 4 lives a night, some nights a week, and you're like, what the fuck am I gonna watch? Because who am I gonna show favoritism to? You know, because I'm not going to pay attention to anyone, you know, like I don't know any of their guests. So, you know, what am I going to do? You know?
All right. So we've had a couple of really good questions. We're going to jump back into one of our preset questions here. Super small name. Oh, they're talking about people in the chat. Ty Park's a good one too. That's a good answer, Pods.
Fucking amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that probably would have been up there for me as well. Anyway, so what's the origin of your business name? And I want to ask for your breeding, and then also for the podcast. Like, how'd you come up with that?
Well, it's all Snakes and the Fatman now. I'm not really doing anything with eyeballs anymore. I mean, none of us really are. The eyeballs name, it was just, I mean, there's nothing groundbreaking. We were just sitting in a room. And there was an iPhone and an iPad, and we were like, how about eyeballs, right? So that's the only way we did it. And we literally copied the iPad and iPhone logo down to the font, right? And we just added the little ball guy. But that logo kind of kicked in, and a lot of people knew it, you know?
Yeah, well, not only that, it's a really, like, it's a cool play on words, because, like, it's like eyeball, but it's like eyeball. Like, it was just neat. It was cool.
Well, that's the, you know, like, the one thing that I hate, and this is all respect given to the people that have their names that are like this, but, like, you know, suck my balls, pythons, and you know, deep balls, pythons, and fucking just like, oh, I don't know. It's just fucking. I'd rather see a last name and then reptiles than that. You know, like you got a cool name because you happen to have a cool last name. You know, like what am I gonna have? I'm gonna have Eaton balls. You know?
Okay, but that's really good.
So, like I remember talking to Brittany when she first started, and I'm like, Gobbles balls would be great. You know, just fucking be very
probably not the best for her though. I think that would probably attract the wrong type of attention.
But with Brittany and I, like Brittany and I say that, like I talk to Brittany every day, and Brittany's always like, you know, on paper we should not be friends. You know, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of agree with you there. You know, but yeah, the origin of the name was no big deal. But with Snakes and the Fat Man, I just named it because of the old TV show Jake and the Fat Man.
Oh,
but nobody even, like, all you young people don't even fucking know that.
I've heard the name before. I never would have made the connection.
It would, yeah. See, so then I didn't do my job. But when I found out that
I think yours sounds better though.
Thank you, but fucking, I always refer to it, and like Miguel, I was talking to Miguel, and he's like, "Oh, you're not even that fat." I'm like, "Dude, I'm not. Like, it's not me. You know, like, don't you remember the show?" And Miguel's like, "No," and I'm like, "You fucking young people just piss me off, man." It sucks so bad, man. It's not like I named it like Hardcastle and McCormick. You know, like fucking, these are names that you should know, you know?
Oh, well, you got a fan here that knows. So
Pete knows, yeah.
Pete knows what's up.
Pete, by the way, that TV interview was great.
He did amazing. He didn't want to do it at first.
Yeah, no, he crushed it, man. He did really well.
He wore a really nice hoodie too. I really liked that hoodie.
Yeah, he was. He was wearing a Reptile Ward hoodie, right?
He was. We got so lucky too because he had been waiting for that thing for like 2 weeks, and he was like, "I don't think it's going to show up in time." And it's like the interview was on, I think, the Tuesday, and it showed up on the Friday. So we got very, very lucky. I just bit my friggin' lip, of course. So in terms of the ball python stuff, do you have anything you're really working towards, or are you just sort of doing what you can every year? Like you're just...
I'm so pissed off that I'm having 2 clutches this year. I would have been happy with none. I'm so mad that I'm going to have 15 more snakes in the house. Like when we ultrasounded, you never saw a more disappointed guy seeing that the snakes had eggs. I'm like, oh, damn it. Fucking bullshit. Now I got to sell these fucking things. Now, you know, just... So no, I'm not working towards anything at all. I'm working towards doing a better podcast, a better YouTube, and better Patreon shit. It's so much more fun to just talk about this and bitch about it. And I know that a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're a failed ball python breeder, so of course you're gonna bitch about it." No, dude, fucking, I'm bitching about it because you watch idiots every day doing things that you're like, oh, that's going to be a mistake. Like that's like, I don't know if I would necessarily do that. You know,
it always hurts me when I see something on YouTube and I just go, oh, like, do I tell them? Is it even worth my time to tell them?
well, also with YouTube now, and I understand, you know, that you have to go out and make a name for your company and all that, but don't be starting a YouTube channel if you never had a clutch. Okay. I mean, fucking 1 clutch is not a lot to ask before you go out spouting your mouth off about what your plans are and what you're going to do, you know, in the coming 5 years. You know, I mean, have 1 clutch first, and then you could do that.
Kathleen Melusine's going to think I'm talking about her, like, exclusively, but I promise I'm not Kathleen. But my biggest pet peeve is when somebody that's never had a clutch before is like, oh well, I want to go for Orange Dream, Etchy Banana, Sunset Hypopie. It's like, do you have one of those jeans in your collection yet? How is that a plan? That's a dream.
Anybody that's never had a clutch before doesn't know how shitty the odds can be on a fucking. But like with my luck this year, I'm gonna have all male clowns. So I'm gonna have male single jean clowns that I'm gonna have to wholesale off to some jerk off in fucking Alabama. You know, so it's like, but when you don't expect it, you tend to get the better stuff. You know, so.
And it's actually funny that you say that because we kind of had something over here happening with that stranger boy we had. I didn't expect anything from him this year. Mm-hmm. And me and Nick were talking. He's like, well, why don't you throw him in, see what happens. He's only like 600 grams. And he locked like instantly.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit. All right, cool. So gave him a couple days off, gave him a meal, threw him in with another girl. No, like without hesitation. So our year went from like, oh, we're going to have some pretty cool stuff, like maybe if we get lucky, to like, holy shit. So
yeah, no, it's the way it goes, man. It's the way it goes. It's strangers are going to be. It might be a tough sell because of the mahogany bullshit. There's enough people out there that think it's the same thing. So
I have it on good authority that there's some information coming out soon. That means I'll have to worry less.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, good. That's
But at the same time, I'm also just going to do it myself. I don't give a fuck. Like, I want to make a stranger clown. We have we do hypo clown stuff. Mm-hmm. I know you hate on the double hats and all that shit, but like, I like it.
I hate on the hypo. I don't really hate on the double hats. I hate.
Funny enough. So we have a mahogany combo hypo female growing up. And once I hit a cool stranger clown male, I'm just going to put them together because fuck it. Like, if I have to do it myself, if nobody's released the information yet, I'll do it myself, and I'll help myself by making the double hats at the same time. Fuck.
Right. Like what does it hurt just to put the information out there? You know? Will Banks did that with me with the Scala shit, on the last interview where, he just basically, like, I think he killed the Scaleless project because he was just like, I never seen a Scaleless on eggs. I never seen a Scaleless with follicles. I never see it, and I'm just like, all right, well, a lot of people are going to have to pivot a little bit, because
that was a really good episode, by the way.
Oh, thanks. I was happy with it. Will Banks has always been cool with me. I know a lot of people have their issues with him, but he's always been cool with me.
Oh, I was more so just because that was the episode I was on, but it was actually a very good interview. I find it weird how many people hate on Will Banks. Like, I don't understand why it's cool to like a guy until they get to a certain size, and then all of a sudden it's like, now we gotta hate him. Like, what?
Yeah.
You can tell he still cares about it. He's just trying to branch out and do better business. Like,
well, not only that, it's like you want to grow, right? Like, I'm sure even if if you were 5 years from now, if you were doing ball pythons for a living, right? I'm sure 7 years from now, you'd be like, oh, maybe I'll do fucking frilled dragons or fucking something else just to kind of like expand. It's just a natural progression of things,
Well, and I think for certain people, it just helps you not get bored of doing the same fucking thing. Like, Will Banks is doing his own, like PVC cages almost. Like, he's got like Will Banks branded like PVC like setup. I don't even know what he's calling them, but like, that's so fucking cool, man. Like, in like 10 years, if I could have branded fucking cages that people would have in their fucking houses that have never even heard of me before, like, that would be super cool.
Well, that's why, people hate on, like, I've actually talked to people and I actually spoke with Brittany about it, where she said that a guy was not going to buy from her because she didn't need the money. And I was just like, fuck it, it's such a stupid fucking way of looking at things, So
it's the you don't need the money and the like you bought in bull crap. drives me nuts. Like, Miguel is probably one of the nicest human beings I've ever spoken to. He 100% bought it. Like, but Miguel also went through all the bullshit everybody else goes through. Like, he dealt with all the shitty people that sold him the wrong stuff.
Yep.
Wasted a shit ton of money. Then still stuck it out. Bought the right stuff.
Right.
And is now where he is. Just because he had a bunch of money doesn't mean he just stepped into it and started making thousands upon thousands of dollars hand over fist right away.
But like, the thing is also that, like, how are you going to hate on a guy that just dumped $200,000 into the industry? And you know, basically, the reason that you're selling your $500 or $1,500 ball python is because people like Miguel and Brittany and fucking all these other high-end people buy the high-end stuff, you know? So they just don't get that. And, man, Miguel is so fucking nice, it makes me sick. You know, like, fucking, I told him, I was just like, dude, you got to stop. You know,
Miguel is one of the nicest people in this hobby I've ever talked to. We've been trying to work out a day to get him on here, but Friday's his busiest day, so it's been a bit of a pain.
He's so hard to get in touch.
What's that?
He's so hard to get in touch with. I've known him for 3 or 4 years now, and I just made it onto the I think I'm number 6 on the speed dial, where he always picks up my calls now. But prior to this, I would have to call Miguel 30 times. I would have to call Harrison to get in touch with Miguel to get Miguel to call me.
I remember when you were saying that on your the first time you had him on your show.
Yeah, it was fucking rough, man. But now I call him up. He fucking picks up. He fucking hooks me up. He's one of the nicest dudes, man. And fucking, I'm so glad that he's probably only second to Justin down here in the States as far as, you know, high-end stuff.
The stuff he has and just the projects he's working with, yeah, it's really hard to compare. Like, he set himself up really well.
Yeah.
Funny enough that you say that, though, because fucking I have a $4,000 snake coming up from him, and I can't get him to pick up a fucking phone call for the life of me.
$4,000. Miguel don't bend over to pick up $4,000 if you saw it on the street, you know.
If it's under 10, he's just passing you off to voicemail.
No, you gotta go down. You gotta promise to do a YouTube video like Antoine did. You know, and then he'll answer you the phone. But.
No, he's actually really good. I know he's just a busy guy, but yeah, it's it sucks right now because our import from the States has been pushed back like 5 times since the beginning of March, I think. Yeah. And I can't get an answer as to why. So a bunch of people I know are waiting on Justin snakes. I'm waiting on a snake from Miguel. Nicole Lyons, who's another breeder from up here, is waiting on a Cypress Batman from Miguel. Like,
wouldn't it be easier to just drive across the border to New York and just pick it up and then drive it back into Canada? Or is that not allowed either?
If I wanted to go to jail, I would do that. They're very, very strict on that shit. I know a lot of people that have done it. Well, back before COVID, they would drive over there. They'd buy a bunch of like shitty clothes and stuff from Target,
right,
to make it look like they went over there for a purpose. Pick up their snake and then claim their clothes when they came through, and be like, "Oh, I spent $200 on clothes." Right. So they'd either wave them through or they'd tax them on the clothes, but they wouldn't like search the vehicle or anything like that.
Oh, really?
And then they just go free and clear. But the problem is, if you get caught, it is not a good time. You get completely locked out of, if you're from Canada, the States, or vice versa, and then you could be possibly facing jail time, and I think there's a very considerable fine, too.
Yeah. I mean, when I went up there just to go to Niagara Falls and go gambling, the dogs fucking were sniffing the car. They had like the drug dogs out. So I don't even know how they could get away with just buying clothes and not having like 3 snakes underneath the fucking, the driver's seat. You know, fucking people, man.
It's actually funny. When I worked for, not the company I work for now, but the one before it, they had a considerable check that they had to get picked up in New York State somewhere. I can't remember the name of the town. It was like a tiny little buttfuck town. Had like 2 gas stations and a Subway and a McDonald's, right? Like, it was probably about 6-hour drive from where I am. So like 40 minutes to the border and then another 5 in. and they couldn't send one of the company trucks to go pick up the check. Otherwise, they might get caught. I don't know what the whole deal is, but they sent me in my personal vehicle. So I drive there, pick up the check, drive back, and I've been in the States for about 10 hours trying to come back over the border, and they're like, well, what were you doing? And I was like, hanging out? I don't what do I tell them? Because I'm not supposed to tell them I have the check. So they pulled me over. They searched my entire car. They pulled the seats out. They pulled the bottom of the trunk out. It was fucking crazy, man.
Nobody prepped you on what to say?
I had no idea. I didn't know what I was like. I had never just gone across the border to pick up a random fucking, I think it was like $180,000 check.
You may as well send you on you were a drug mule, basically.
Essentially, but the funniest part was, between the time I went through the border and when they pulled me over to check the car, I had about 5 minutes in my vehicle, and they were watching me so I couldn't get out of the vehicle, but I just took the check and I, shoved it into my glove compartment, and I just had probably 1,000 just random papers in there. And they just kind of opened it, really quickly, thumbed through it and then closed it.
Right.
So, but yeah, they're brutal, man. It's bad. I would not want to get caught with a snake you're not supposed to have at the border. That's
exactly. And you guys are basically shut down right now, right?
Yeah, completely shut down. It's brutal. It just, I don't know, man. It sucks because it feels like the last 14 months has been for nothing. And we've been, up here has been so much more strict than the States. Well, a lot of the States. I know some of them were really strict. And we were doing so well for so long. And then this third wave came in, and it just seems to be running through our entire country. It's bad. In Ontario specifically, it's really bad. So
it's so funny because in Texas, they don't even give a fuck, and their numbers are going down. So
that's because they're just throwing the dead bodies off a cliff somewhere and not even counting them.
That's probably true.
They're a whole different breed down there from what I get. So
yeah, it's I remember what Ozzy told me. He said there's a special kind of white people in Texas.
Okay, so Noah's trying to get a question in here, and I think he just really wants that sticker pack. So no problem, Noah. If you made a world's first today, what would you call it? I guess. So, just like a world's first combo, I guess he's saying. If you could give it a nickname.
I think it's funny that there's the one poor kid that's the only one asking questions, and we're making it seem like fucking there's a ton of questions going on. The one thing I wanted to have when Danny was working with the Rangine and we were working with Stranger, to have a Stranger Rain and call it the Strain. And I thought that would be a cool name, Oh,
man, that's super cool.
But other than that, I could give a fuck. I want to get the first Ultramel Huffman hypo. If I could do that, I'll just call it the shitbag.
I still don't know what a Huffman is.
That's a normal. Yeah.
Corey Martin has tried to explain it to me 5 times, and I'm just like, okay.
It's normal. Well, I did a Patreon video. I have a series called Shitting On, right? And the Huffman team was my first episode. And I was just showing, I would show a normal and then a Huffman, and then a normal and then a Huffman. And I was like, can you tell which one? And no, you can't, because they were actually both just normals. Okay, but you thought one of them was a Huffman. Look at bullshit. That's funny. That's a team that only taken hold in Texas for some reason.
That's
I love it.
To be fair, though, it's probably like Het Ready Xanthic was here when Corey Woods first discovered it, because people up here were like, it's a normal. The dude's trying to sell up normals for fucking $500. What the fuck? And it actually eventually turned into something. But where was that? There was another. It doesn't matter. My only thing that I've thought of in terms of names were when we got our Stranger. It's a pastel leopard yellow belly Stranger het clown male, and I want to put him to an asphalt, and I want to make a Stranger freeway, and I want to call it the Hitchhiker.
That's not bad.
It makes sense, right?
But you brought up something that I would like to discuss. You Canadians and your fucking asphalt bullshit.
It's just the way it's pronounced, man.
There's no H in it.
There is an H. It's just not after the F or after the P. There's no F.
Oh my God! Yeah,
it's asphalt. Leave me alone. No, I know it's asphalt. I am very aware of that's how it's supposed to be pronounced, but yeah, I'm too Canadian, I guess. I can't stop. Also, working for Billy and just hearing him say it all the time, like it's just grained in now.
Yeah, no, I think the first time I heard someone say it was Catherine York said it on one of her shows, and I was like, oh, she's saying it wrong, right? And then like a week later, I heard Billy say the same thing, and I was like, son of a bitch, they all say it wrong. And then you said it wrong on one of your shows, and I'm like, fucking A, it's a Canada thing.
Yeah, no, asphalt is just the Canadian pronunciation. It's not somebody saying it incorrectly. That's how we all say it. And I don't know why, because it's spelled the exact fucking same up here.
So when you walk out on like a hot street in the middle of the summer, you're like, holy shit, the asphalt is hot?
Well, I would just say the ground's fucking hot, but generally, yes, I would say the asphalt. Like that's just how it's set up here for some stupid reason. I don't know. I have a weird attachment to the pronunciation up here too. So
no, it's all good. It's fucking weird, but it's all good.
Noah says, "I want the sticker pack."
Does Noah? Is anyone else even here?
Don't worry, Noah. You're the only one really asking questions, so you already got a sticker pack, buddy. Don't you worry about that shit.
I'm gonna send Noah a sticker pack, even though I'll be all gay.
Let's jump into another question. So, what actually made you realize you wanted to breed snakes, or whatever got you into the hobby to begin with at all? Like, what was the moment for you?
I always wanted a snake growing up, right? But my mother wouldn't let me get a snake in the house, right? Because you're from the Bronx. It's not like you could just go outside and catch a snake, right? So when I was like 22 and I was living with my girlfriend, I bought a Argentinian boa from a show. And this was like back when the shows like kept all the snakes cold. So the snake would be all calm when you're holding it, and when you take it home, then every time you walk past the tank, it's fucking striking the tank, right? So the snake started striking the tank, and it scared the fuck out of me, right? Like fucking. So what I did was I didn't even want to go to sleep with that thing in my house, right? So what I did was I put it in the tank, and then I put a dining room chair on top of the tank, and then I put like a giant plastic bin full of shit on top of that. And the next day I just took it to the exotic pets place in town and fucking just gave it to them, right? But when I moved out to LA, my girlfriend had like 9 big berms, like giant 12-foot, 15-foot berms. And that's when I just started to get back into the reptile thing.
That's awesome.
There was a point in LA where, we had an alligator, like we had a 6-foot alligator.
Oh shit!
We kept it in the sunken-in bathtub in one of our bathrooms in the house, and we had a pool in the backyard. We let it go in the pool, and we had frilled dragons, iguanas, savannah monitors, and ironically, we only had like 2 ball pythons at the time, but we had about 90 different species of animals, and it was fun. We had horses and all that, so my girlfriend at the time was very, like, she's the type of person that is going to get killed trying to feed a cookie to a bear. Like, she's going to be like, oh, it wants it, it wants it. The bear just fucking swats her and kills her. But for a while there, we were animal heavy at my house,
That's awesome.
It was fun, it was definitely fun.
So we started giving Noah shit for being the only one asking questions, and we just got fucking bombarded with questions.
Oh, get the fuck out of here, really? Okay, sorry.
Okay, so first one, Bod's Exotic Reptiles. I think they're talking about your shirt, but I'm going to just plug mine real quick because it's a local guy. Hogtown Balls, Paul, he's a bit newer in the hobby. go give him a fucking follow on Instagram. But I'm pretty sure you're asking about Chris's shirt, so I'll let you tell him about it.
Quick question about Paul. Has he had a clutch yet?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Then he could get a shirt. Okay. This is the Till Valhalla project for suicide vets, that come home 22 a day are committing suicide still. And what this project does is it all the money that they get from shirts, they get plaques made for remembrance on people, for people that have, either, gotten killed afterwards or got killed in battle. And Limey Smidger, if you know him, he's kind of like a big shot, old school guy here.
Limey's awesome, man. I talk to him not all the time, but a lot.
He's fucking incredible. He got me into it, and we just started promoting the shit out of it, and luckily it kind of caught on pretty well, and we got quite a few people to buy the shirts. So I
saw who was it? Hardwired posted today.
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah. Oh, why can I not think of his name? Yeah, him and his girlfriend posted with him on. Yeah. I'm glad it's taken off. I saw you make the original post about it, and it seems like it's really caught on. So
yeah,
it's really cool.
I definitely want to just keep it going. I think I bought 5 or 6 shirts from him already, and then just gonna keep it rolling. I mean, what does it hurt to fucking promote something like this that fucking helps people that are going through shit that you can't even imagine that they're going through. So
no, it's an awesome cause.
Yeah,
I'm actually glad people asked about it because I wanted to bring it up and then I totally forgot. So, this is Paul Taylor. This is our drink sponsor. Actually, sorry, Chris. Guys, please go follow Paul, Snake Road Constrictors. I'm pretty sure I screwed up his... Yeah, I definitely screwed up his Instagram on the ticker. But...
Well, also, just as important, follow his wife, Taylor Dawn, who's an author. Fucking great fucking chick. Paul is fucking awesome. What was his question? Will I try to eat? Yeah, I will. I will try. And look at me, man. I fucking there wasn't a piece of food that I've ever said no to. So,
and if for some reason that has to do with me, I'm pretty sure Texas is all barbecue. So absolutely, are you crazy?
Well,
I'll eat all of it.
They're doing a crawfish boil at the Conroe show.
Oh goddamn!
And I never had one of those little lobsters, and they're saying that you got to suck the fucking head out. But like that's going to be a little gross. But and also what I'm going to do while in Texas is even if I have to stay a few days, I'm going on a helicopter and fucking blasting the shit out of wild pigs.
That's awesome.
On Animal Planet, yeah, fucking. So yeah, I mean, because I can't be doing shit like Miguel did and be doing bull riding like a fucking bull rider. That'll kill me.
I mean, I would probably try it if I had a few beers in me. Like I would agree to it and then think twice about it, and then I wouldn't want to pussy out, so I would do it anyway. And I'd probably walk away crippled.
Dude, he told me that when he was on the bull in the little lock part, he was shitting himself right there, just by that. And it's so funny because like I'll walk around like my neighborhood and I'll look at a fence and in my head I'll be like, I could jump that fence, but in reality that fence would fucking kill me, right? Like, it's like what you think you could do and what you can do when you're past 40 is 2 different fucking things, man.
That's very fair, man. I mean, like I said, I would probably agree to it. I'd probably get there, and I probably would not walk away from it. Like they'd be taking me out on a stretcher. Ugh. We got Kayla from Marvel Balls UK. She actually just had her first clutch hatch out. So,
okay. So get some stickers, Kayla.
I'm pretty sure she has some.
Oh, that means that she was prepared. Okay.
Hardest part about ball python breeding?
There's nothing hard about ball python breeding. I mean, literally, there are things that you put them in a fucking tank together and they fuck. So you're gonna you could be a fucking retarded kid and get fucking. And I know you're not supposed to say that word anymore. I'm sorry. I'm well aware of what's going on. Okay?
Awesome.
But I don't mean it in a way like, like, oh, look, there's one over there. I mean it in a way like fucking just a stupid. Oh, there we go. We're back.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened there. Sorry, man.
I thought you just cut me off because I said the R word.
I definitely did not cut you off.
No, it's not hard at all. You get two ball pythons, you're going to have babies. If you get a male and a female.
And you know what? That's the truth. I feel like all these ball python Facebook groups and this and that and everything, like, I feel like everybody makes it seem a lot more difficult than it is to try to make themselves look important.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh, look at all these clutches I got. Like, cool, you put a couple snakes together and they just happen to give you eggs. Like, if the female isn't going to lay, she's not going to lay. It has nothing to do with what you fucking did. Like, great that you put the male in, but...
Yeah, that's akin to when I see all these Facebook posts around, 12 FedEx boxes. And it's like, oh, big shipment going out today. Like, oh, great, you found 12 other fucking idiots to fucking get into this fucking dumb hobby. Very good for you.
Miss Jamie, RC Reptiles. Who has been your favorite guest you've interviewed so far?
Jamie.
Good answer. That deserves a round of applause. That's awesome.
Actually, like any hot chick that I interview is my favorite. My favorite one. But I did like this last one with Warren Booth. I mean, that was really like a down to earth guy that you became friends with right after the interview. So
I personally really liked the one you did that was like 15-20 minutes of a bunch of people. I think it was into what's that?
All the hot shots like Justin and Miguel.
Yeah, I like the format of it because everything was like really to the point and quick. Right. Not that I don't like the other ones. It's just I'm not answering the question she asked either, so I'm just being an asshole right now. But I just found that interview to be really entertaining. And it kept my attention a lot more than a normal podcast would. And I don't mean one of your podcasts. I just mean in general. Mm-hmm. Because it was like question, new person. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I know that's not something any person could pull off in any regularity, but it was a cool treat. That's for sure.
It's fun because I get away with a lot of shit that normal people can't get away with. Because I think it's because people know that I'm funny. People know that I never want to make them look bad. It's never said in a mean way. Mm-hmm. And it's fun to just, like, it's so funny to like be a guy to be like, tell Ozzy or Justin, well, we're 20 minutes in, we got to go.
Gotta cut you off. Bye.
Yeah. So that part of it was fun, but they all know it, and we've been friends with these people for years, like way before I've had the podcast. So but I've met a lot of great people like Jamie, like Brittany, after I had the podcast.
Did you know Corey because of Snakes and the Fatman, or did you meet her separately?
No, I think I knew her because of Snakes and the Fatman, and because I heard of her. And I wanted to get her on a 15 minutes. And it's very hard to get people to do the 15 minutes when they've been doing this for years, because they feel that they deserve, a 2-hour interview. They don't, but the fact of the matter is you're doing the same thing that 5 million other people have already done. So, until you actually, have something to talk about for 2 hours, why have you on, Give you 15 minutes and have fun with it.
And you know what? I think I personally prefer the people that are a little more established on the 15 minutes because they have those answers. It's not like the, you know what I mean? Like, they know what their system is. They know their costs. They know what they're making. Right. It's really quick,
And here's the thing I told people. I was like, if Mike fucking Brizzy could be on 15 Minutes of Lame, you could be on 15 Minutes of Lame. right? Because you haven't done nearly half the shit that Brizzy's done, so and also like I was planning on having people on 15 minutes that would ordinarily warrant a 2-hour interview. Like I wanted to have like Casey Lassick on or Garrett DeMeyer on 15 minutes and fucking, but not even tell the people who they are and then cut them off. Like I would love to like for the buzzer to go off during like a Garrett DeMeyer interview. And Garrett's like, what the fuck is that? Like, I've been talking for 15 minutes and you cut me off. So
it would be really good though if you invited people on and didn't tell them that they were part of the 15 minutes of lame instead of a full episode.
It would be fucking. I mean, I just don't want to be a dick because I'm a dick enough on the show to the people that deserve that, to deserve the fact that you should be a dick too. But I don't want to be a dick to like my core people,
Oh, for sure. This is a very good question from Mr. Pete once again.
Okay.
In case, sorry, I just shut up. In case anybody's just listening and not watching, Pete asked, "What's been your single most rewarding moment as a breeder?"
I'm gonna tell you, but it's gonna make me sound like a fucking dick. When we sold our first snake for $15,000, that was I was like, oh, maybe this thing is worth it,
I don't blame you, man. Like I'm sitting here, and as much as I want to tell you I'm doing it because I love it and all this, and I do, right? I'm sitting here going, man, if we get lucky and I hit a fucking couple Gene Stranger Clown this year, like right. I could be out of debt. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like that's very exciting to me. Like it's not the most fantastical thing to say, and it's not a soundbite, but it's the truth. I could be completely out of debt with one sale.
Right.
So I don't blame you, man.
And to follow up that question was, what's the worst feeling that you've had as being a breeder? Is 25 minutes later when you realize that $15,000 is nothing compared to the money that you dumped into this stupid hobby for the last 4 years. So and that $15,000 doesn't help you get out of debt at all. So
see, me and Nick have gotten very lucky. We've been very smart, and each of us have put in a certain amount. Mine being debt now, and his being investments that he's taken out and put into this instead. But for the most part, we've done a lot of it just out of pocket, and not like out of debt or anything like that. So I think I'm sitting around $16,000 that I still owe, and he has nothing he owes. Right. Anything we make that he gets, he's just going in his pocket.
Yeah, but $16,000 you could pay that off in a season if you have a good season.
And that the big thing is, and a lot of people don't realize, I probably could have paid that off this year.
Right.
But there's so much more involved. You know what I mean? You're breeding, you're buying, you're feeding. Like it's a lot. But if I could get one big sale where I could just take that chunk and it's gone, that'd be phenomenal for me. Yeah. So a lot of people don't realize, like, I don't know why the money subject is so taboo in this hobby, but it shouldn't be.
Right.
Like,
well, it's like I was partners with two people that make way more money than me, right? And that's could be good and it could be bad, because it's good when you need something. You're just like, hey, we need a new freedom breeder, and they're just like, hey, let's just throw some money at it. But when you they don't need this business at all to make money, because they're already making $10,000 a week at their job, so it's like when you're doing this just to make money, odds are you're going to fail. It's like going into gamble and needing the money, like it's saying, oh, I need to hit $10,000 today.
Yes,
I'm fucked. It's very similar to that with ball pythons.
And it's funny because I've seen a lot of people walk into this hobby, drop $100,000 that they don't have,
Yeah.
And those are the people that are always gone very fast.
Yep.
I put myself into a little bit of debt, but it was almost like a controlled debt. Like I made sure that if for some reason all of this goes ass up one day and I don't make a fucking cent, I can still pay it off on my 9-to-5 job.
Right.
Eventually, it's going to suck to do it, but eventually, like say I lost everything in a fire and I get nothing from insurance.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to suck balls, but I could work my way back to nothing.
Right.
That said, though, if I ever decide to get out, that $16,000 we could make back very quickly.
Right.
Like if we sold everything we had, it's crazy, man. Anyway,
it's just it's a race to the bottom. You know, this whole business. That's what it is. You know. And the time that I found that out was I was at Daytona in I think 2017, and bananas were selling for like $500, maybe $700. And this motherfucker was selling lots of 50 for $50 a piece. Right. And I was like, this is, you'll never be able to compete with these guys.
Oh my God.
So it is what it is, man.
I'm going to answer Pete's question too, just because I kind of want to. I had a baby this year. Or, I guess last year now.
Like a real baby, or?
No. I never want one of those. That's gross.
It is gross, yeah.
No. I had a hatchling, and it was actually one of my, ended up being one of my best hatchlings of the entire year, but that wasn't important at the time. But it came out of a really, really shitty-ass egg. It was like a half boob egg. Never expected it to go full term. Managed to somehow. I cut the egg because it was desiccating really early. And I got this motley yellow belly het clown female in the egg. And it was barely moving. Like it just, something seemed off. So I did some investigating, and the umbilicus wasn't just, it was completely tied in a knot. So from its belly, full knot, tied tight, yolk.
Right.
So I had never experienced that before. I'd only ever seen the twisted umbilicus where, you know, you've seen every witch person post a video on how to fix it. But I had never dealt with that before. So I reached out to a few people, and I actually am very thankful because I got very close to a couple guys trying to figure this out. But I ended up having to completely amputate the umbilicus on the entire yolk sac. And I was positive that snake was dead. Like, I was like, there's no way the snake's going to hatch. Like, hatch. You know what I mean? Because basically I had to pull it out, take it off, and then I put it back in the egg, and I kind of, like, made an artificial top for the egg with some paper towels and stuff like that. The animal ends up coming out. It's real fucked. And just through the connections I've made, just very fortunately, and knowing a couple people that had gone through the same thing, I somehow got that animal from that point to now taking full fucking meals in my rack at 500 grams.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I didn't expect that animal to make it a week. Like, so it was just a really cool moment because it was a lot of information that I had absorbed but never used.
Right.
And then I turned it into something. You know what I mean? Like, I took all that info that I hoped I'd never need, and then it was just sick. Well, it was awesome.
I will tell you this: the first time you sell a snake for $15,000, it's going to trump that moment.
I fucking hope so. If it doesn't trump that moment, I will be very, very upset. That one's for you for sure. Favorite gene you're working with now besides Huffman?
Well, the only gene I'm really working with this year is spot nose and leopard and clowns, but they're all going to be some form of spot nose leopard clown. You know, so I didn't even know that a spot nose leopard clown was a Batman. But like that, like that's how out of the loop I am. You know, Donato had to tell me. And I was like, oh, cool. Okay. Well, you know, you're probably going to want to keep all those. So, but like, I don't even care, but it's, I would like to get Red Stripe back in the collection. That's what I would like to do. And if I could get a replacement for this pastel spot nose clown male that has Red Stripe in it, and I get a bunch of spot nose other stuff, I'll be happy. But I don't really, you know, like, I'm not chasing it. I mean, it's literally like I'll go once a day to check the racks, and there's only, you know, a couple of snakes in there, you know, and I'll check on them once a day and be like, yep, all right, you're all right until tomorrow. You know?
You're still a snake? Cool, yep, done.
You're still alive? Cool. Okay, good. So yeah, I don't, you know, like, I like watching what other people are doing. I like watching what Justin's doing. I like watching what Miguel's doing. I like watching what Billy's doing. And it's just more fun for me. And I found out, you know, the hard way that my niche in this whole hobby is just talking about it, not doing it, you know, not breeding it.
I just lost a really good question. God damn it.
But I agree with Jamie. Yeah. Fuck kids. They're the worst. I mean,
no, thank you.
I'll start giving a shit about a kid when he asks me how my day is going. Right? Piece of
All right,
shit.
there was a question I lost.
Oh, what's the next subject on shitting on? It's going to be hypo.
Wow. Oh, apparently I missed a couple questions, so I'm going to go find them. But let's start with this one. Who is a guest that you'd like to have on that you haven't yet?
Dan and Colette Sutherland and Tracy Barker. And Tracy Barker only because Sean could never get her. And I always wanted to, you know, to get her on too, and just call up Sean and be like, I got Tracy Barker to come on. But I would like to get those on because these older people, you know, everybody forgets, man. Like fucking, they're not going to be around forever. And, you know, to listen to their stories and all that, it's interesting. It's interesting knowing that a fucking Pied was going for 25 grand. Not 20 years ago, you know? So you need a guy, like you need a Jamie in a chair that's not on.
I sure do, but I do not have that for 30 viewers. So, Hair Hollow Farm. How hot do I need to be to get my own 15 minutes of lame?
what is it? A guy or a girl?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
What's the name?
Hair Hollow Farm.
I don't know. Send me a picture. DM me a picture.
That's amazing.
I can tell you right now, if you're a guy, forget it. I've never heard of you, and you have a dumb name. So fucking. But if you're a girl, I'll bypass the dumb name and be like, all right, come on.
All right, we got a question from Dylan. What's up, Dylan? What has been the biggest mistake, and what did you learn from it, hobby or life-wise? Ooh, that could go a little deep.
Yeah. Well, as far as the business goes, we got ripped off so hard when we were at the beginning. You know, buying hats that weren't hats and buying, you know, and the lesson that we learned real early was just go to people like Justin, just go to people like Ozzy, just go to people that have legitimate names in the business, and don't go to fucking Billy Joe Jack from Alabama who lives in his mother's basement and is doing this for some extra cash. Yeah, no, that doesn't mean anything because I got boobies, right?
Hold on. There you go.
Okay, all right, there we go. All right. Tell her to DM me a picture. Tell her to DM me a picture on Facebook or.
Oh, this is the best.
I don't use Instagram.
Oh, this is so good. Oh my god. Let's see. Do we have any questions left? Oh, I asked you how, but I didn't ask when. This is usually the first of the two questions. When did you start doing this? Like the breeding, all that?
When I moved back from LA, I was looking at Nerd's website, and they were selling like bumblebees for like fucking 16 grand, right? So I went, I talked to Donato in like 2000. I think I came back in 2010 or 2011. And I talked to Donato and I was like, hey, you know what we should do? We should get a couple of these ball pythons because Donato always had ball pythons growing up. And I was like, and if we get 2 of them and we breed them, and if we even make $5 grand a year to put in a little savings account, it'll be kind of cool and worth it, right? And Donato was like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, yeah, but we got to do it slow. And then 6 months later, we had 300 snakes here and Danny involved. And it became a job way quicker than it became, way quicker than we wanted it to.
That's fair. Oh my god. Have you seen the spot-nosed yellow-belly calico clown? Calico seems like a good red stripe substitute without the price tag. I don't think so with the video Justin just put out. I'm pretty sure the calico clown stuff is tripled in price overnight.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the first time Justin said there was a black pastel in that Pompeii, black pastels went to $1,100 when the day before they were $250.
It's insane, man.
Yeah.
I remember... I can't remember the name of the gene, but he was on Cusco's Tuesday show.
Mm-hmm.
And on the Tuesday, he gave a bit of like a sneak peek to what his video was on the Friday. And between the end of the thing Tuesday and before the video even came out Friday, the gene, which was like redhead or something like that, something I had never even heard of, went from going for like $1,000, $1,200 to like $4 or $5 grand, and then Justin's video came out and it did not drop.
Right. Yep.
It was insane, man.
Yeah,
it was so crazy.
He's one of those guys where he could be like, "Hey, I think this might be hot," and people fucking hedge on it, So.
All right. Well, Chris, I'm going to ask the chat for any more questions. I don't want to keep you here for fucking 4 hours because I know you hate that, but I want to try to end this strong. So let's see if we got any good questions coming in from the.
Let's get the girl with the boobs back on.
Oh, there she is.
Nice.
I wasn't shitting on redhead. That was just commentary on the pricing. I don't know what it does. I'm not going to claim to be an authority.
I don't know what it does either, but Shane Kelly has some redhead stuff.
Does he?
Well, yeah. So it's so funny. Don't you hate it when these hot girls are like coming on and they talk to you and you're like, hey, this hot girl is really talking to me. And then they fucking ask a dumb snake question, like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't care. Like, fucking, I really don't know. Let's just talk about your boob size, or let's, I mean, come on, man." Fucking.
Oh my god, that's fucking funny. Oh, I actually missed this question from Mr. Noah, who's already getting the sticker pack.
All right.
Most expensive animal you've bought?
The strangers. We spent 20 grand for 2 of them, and prior to that, it was some killer clowns that we paid like $6,000 for, and that I was nervous for at the time. I was like, I'm going to pick these things up at the airport. I'm like, is somebody going to mug me on my way back to my car? So yeah, it was 20 grand for the 2 strangers. Which 10 grand is a lot for a fucking ball python. And when
hold on. So you paid 20 grand for 2 strangers? What year was that?
I don't know, 2016,
Were they
2017.
male or female?
Female. Because
God damn it, you got a good deal still. Holy shit.
Well, they were like, I think they were 9,500 each. So with the fees and all that, it ended up being,
Wow.
24. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was 2016. 2020, I bought my male, and that has got to be the most expensive animal I've ever bought, and it's more than you paid per animal.
Yeah, but it's male. I mean, you can put it to work right away.
Very true.
Yeah.
But besides that, I would have to say the Ultramel Hypopide that Billy and I split on, that we still don't have.
Where'd you get that from? Zach Nava?
Not Zach. Zach wishes he had that animal. No, Dean from Europe. Dean.
Malenko?
Nope.
I'm only kidding. Dean Malenko's a wrestler.
Oh my god, how did I not know that? I love wrestling. No, I can't remember his last name, but he's got some crazy shit over in Europe. But Billy and myself and Nick split on an Ultramel Hypopide breeder male. And it was not cheap, and this was like middle of last year.
Right.
And it's still not here yet. And I'm starting to really second guess the cost that we put into it.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you finally get it, it'll be worth about $600. When you finally breed it, you'll be able to get $200 a piece for the offspring.
Mm-hmm. The only plus side to it is we co-own it with Billy, so he's going to be putting it to some of his crazy shit. Right, so I'm sure there'll be something from it, but like, what the fuck do I do with it now?
Yeah,
I have no Ultramel.
Oh yeah, Ultramel. That's going to be the following episode of shitting on. Right.
Oh, this is good. You got chicks in the chat fucking dropping their boob sizes, man. Like this is the whole new world of an episode for me. So.
Oh man. Oh, KPO Pythons. I like her.
Yeah, Callie. That's the person that does all Billy's shoutouts and stuff. She does all that stuff for him.
Oh, okay.
K-pop.
She'll ask her if she wants to be on the next All Hot Chick episode.
I mean, you just asked her. I don't have to do shit.
We're having a lot of Canadians on the next one. Kim is going to be on it. The other Christy Lynn is going to be on it.
I'm glad you have them on because I'd say 90% of their snakes are from me.
Well, oh, okay. Well, see, but here's the thing. I don't give a shit because we're not going to talk about snakes. But it's like that's the last thing I want to talk about on anything that we do.
I'll just have to tell Christy to put her hat on because she's got one of my hats.
Well, you could do that. I mean, these are all girls that are hot enough that if they're wearing hats, it doesn't affect their hotness. Right? So.
Yeah, see? Majority of her snakes are from me. All right, so I'm going to say we're going to call this at 8:30, so if anybody has any more questions for Chris, I just don't want to leave him, dragging along here because he hates the 2, 3, 4, 5, 10-hour lives. That said, do you have anything you want to plug? Anything coming up?
Everybody buy one of these Till Valhalla Project shirts. Go support that. That's the big thing that I'm on. And of course, buy one of my shirts, of course. But I got a new website coming out. Been working on it for a couple of months now. And if you're in a position to support the channel, Patreon, where Canada's not nice. Yeah, true. Yeah, it's true. It's like everybody I know knows you and Billy. Like, and they know you personally. It's not like they just like, hey, I bought a snake from Chris. It's like, oh, I hung out with Chris last Thursday, and then I got 4 snakes from him on Friday. Like, all right, cool.
I like having a relationship with people that buy snakes from me. It's weird, but I don't know, man. I like to see what happens with my animals. It is what it is.
Nah, see, not me. Even back then, I was like, once the cash hits my bank, it's their animal, right?
I am an enabler. Anyway, it seems like we don't have any more questions coming in, so
they're like, just shut this fat fuck up. Tell him to go home.
Jesus Christ. Oh man. All right, so guys, go buy what's the actual program called for your shirts?
It's called Till Valhalla Project.
Till Valhalla Project?
Yeah.
Oh.
So just type in Till Valhalla Project on Facebook or Instagram. It'll come up, and buy a shirt.
We got one more question. This is a good one.
Oh man. Oh, I could go on for another hour, right?
Oh no, I just want you to pick one. This is a great one to end on.
Biggest pet peeve in the hobby is when you're watching people that live in a trailer talking about how they're going to buy the next Pompeii or the next Justin $8,000 snake. And you literally think, man, why don't you get rid of that car on cinder blocks in your front yard first, So that's one of my biggest pet peeves is people that think they're just going to come in and take over and think they're going to spend $1,000 and make $1 million. So
I think you'll appreciate my answer to this, but mine is the powerhouse thing. Oh. Every animal that has 2 genes lately, powerhouse.
That's
you gotta buy this powerhouse. Like, your pastel lesser male is not a powerhouse. Go fucking sit down.
Warren Booth just said that. He's like, "Oh, Chris, it's a powerhouse," and it's not. It's just fucking, a yellow belly Enchi is not a powerhouse. You dumb fuck. Just go away. And I'm gonna do one more pet peeve. Like,
do it. No, let's go.
I know that when people have their first clutches, it's exciting. Okay, I understand that you just brought life into the world, but there's no need to put 75 pictures of your normal on fucking Facebook and Instagram that you just hatched out. And you're like, oh, might be a yellow belly. And, okay, another pet peeve also. When people,
why did we get into this sooner?
When people are, they're like, bought this as an Enchi, but I think there's something else going on in there. Shut the fuck up.
What are you seeing my snake? Oh.
You don't know dick. What are you, a geneticist, you dumb fuck? Right? You don't know what's something else in there. In case anybody doesn't notice, ball pythons are polymorphic. So fucking 2 normals could look completely different. One is not a dinker, okay? You fucking idiot. So it's not 1989 anymore. People know this, okay? So, yeah, I just hate people. I mean, it's just like, it's like, here's the whole thing, is that you could get a college degree online on YouTube for free now, and yet these people still don't look up ball python genetics on YouTube, and they can't tell that their Enchi is just a shitty Enchi. You dumb fuck.
The best part is it's always the people that have like the really shitty quality animals that are like, I think it's something else. Like, oh, my pastel's really brown. I think there's something else going on. Like, no, you just bought a shit animal, dude.
That's right. They're like, may turn out that this animal right here is a powerhouse. May turn out that it's not, though. May turn out that it's not. I'm gonna bet on it's not. All right. So.
Oh my god. I don't think there's a better spot to end on, Chris.
I know.
Than that. So man, thank you. This has been super fun. We gotta fucking talk more, dude. I know I've been life. But yeah. No, this has been so fun, man. Thank you so much.
Dude, I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me on, man.
All right, dude. I'm gonna drop you off here. I'm gonna name a couple people that are getting the sticker packs, and then I'll probably message you after this.
Noah and the titty girl. Give her stickers. I'll give her stickers too. Okay.
All right. Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
Yeah. Take it easy, guys.
All right, Chris. Thank you so much for coming on. We all really appreciate it. This has been one of the best episodes. Thank you so much, dude.
Thanks for having me, brother.
See you, man. All right, guys. So with Chris's blessing himself. Hair Hollow Farm getting a sticker pack. Also Noah, and I think the last one has to go to Pete, even though he already has a shit ton of stickers. He had a really, really good question earlier today. Yeah, so guys, thank you so much. This has been one of my most favorite episodes to do. That was so fun and funny, and Jesus Christ, that was just great. Yeah, man. I will announce next week's guest probably on Monday. Kim, we'll get you more stickers. Don't you worry. Guys, thank you all so much. This has been Friday Night Live. Catch you on the next one.